Health and safety risks are ever present in the construction sector, and as a result, all projects require site-specific safety plans, or SSSPs, detailing how the work will be undertaken as to minimise the risk and harm posed to workers. SSSP procedures and documents should align with the business's overall health and safety management system. At minimum, SSSPs should include the following: project information, including locations, addresses, project scopes and milestones, safety roles and responsibilities, as well as a detailed site plan. A registry of hazards and risks known or likely to arise during the project's works, alongside a list of control measures, will help mitigate these risks. Emphasis should be placed on critical risks that are likely to cause fatalities or life-threatening injuries. A scheduled plan of how hazards will be identified and risks monitored and controlled throughout the entire project lifecycle. This is essential, as development plans and conditions can change on a dime within the sector. All staff entering a site should be made aware of on-site hazardous substances and the risks associated with exposure to these, as well as what personal protective equipment is necessary to handle each substance. A registry of incidents as they occur, with details of the reports and investigations subsequent to each event, including the near misses. A framework to apply remedial action when necessary to highlight lessons learnt or changes to these risk assessments. This should include policies on behaviour that compromises health and safety, such as on-site intoxication or disregarding protocols. An established agreement in writing detailing how construction and coordination plus other PCBUs, persons conducting a business or undertaking, on site will be undertaken. Training and competency programs for all staff covering first aid certification and communication skills, as well as how to operate, inspect and maintain equipment. And finally, emergency arrangements, with a staff database listing relevant medical information, next of kin, contact details, as well as plans for how to respond to emergencies specific to the job site. Ready-made templates for SSSPs are available through vendors like HazardCo and SiteSafe. These digital technologies are secure and can easily be accessed and updated from any device with Wi-Fi or mobile data. Other apps and digital tools offered by these and other companies can streamline health and safety administration and ensure that all workers are made aware of suspected and known risks. Simply put, digitising SSSPs is the most effective way to make sure work health and safety is prioritised. Using digital tools to create and enact SSSPs saves time, keeps information up to date and helps to minimise the risk and harm to people on site, in the field or even in the office. Visit hazardco.com or sitesafe.org.nz to see examples of these ready-made SSSPs available for purchase. Otherwise, you can create your own SSSP for free on platforms such as Google Docs, Google Sheets. However, be aware that this will require expert knowledge of health and safety regulations and best practices. Vendors of digital safety systems are generally happy to provide consultations if you are struggling to choose between the services. To learn about what's happening currently in the construction sector, check out our real-world stories.